All right, trucks at Richmond. These are my settings: 14 to 1 plus 0, 57. You can go as low as you want on the brake bias without the car having that right rear slide under braking. I would caution against going too low because then if you even overdrive the corner by a smidge, it's like unsavable with your brake. You can do it first lap or second lap. We're just gonna try to rip first lap and then maybe do a cheeky third lap like we do at short tracks if the first lap doesn't pan out. Doesn't matter too much. Second lap should technically be better. Okay, get the car pulling down early, full throttle as early as you can. Try to keep the car under you, don't let it get loose. Gonna go fairly early brake here, get the car pulling down early. Want to get it all the way down to the yellow, just about. If we miss it a little bit, that's okay. Gonna get loose off this corner, yeah. We're gonna bail from that, and we're gonna set up for a second lap here. Point it early, full throttle early. Might be a little bit hotter of a tire, but no, it feels fine. Don't want to go too late. Brake, get it down to the yellow. Late apex. Had to get a little bit of a correction there, very loose off the corner. Early braking, earlier than you think into 3. Get it really stuck to that yellow, get back on the throttle, keep it down here as long as you can, then let it up. Good grip. There we go. So yeah, lap 2 definitely has a lot better feeling of the car. I think I underdrove 3 just a tiny bit there, but the line looks really good, so I think it'll be a good example for you guys. So first off with the run-up, I just kind of aim for this dash line. If my tire goes a little bit below it, it's fine. Then I'm just waiting for the car to weight shift. And again, I explain this a lot in these type of videos, but weight shifting is when the car feels like it wants to go and up and hit the wall. Then at a certain moment, it'll kind of start to want to come down the track. At that moment, you know you're good to go on the throttle because the weight's distributed more to the evenly to the front and the rear tires, and then we can just go full throttle. Make sure to unload that wheel by the time you get on the straightaway. Very easy to get the car loose there out of nowhere. All right, now turn 1 here. It's a very open to artistic interpretation corner. So I like to turn down early, but as you can see, I'm not quite as turned down at the yellow line as you would expect that I usually am with how much I talk about it. It's because Richmond is a really good late apex corner for a hot lap. So I start off by kind of aiming at this second groove, but then I just hold my brake until the car weight shifts down. You see how I wait until the car starts to move down to go on the throttle. So I hold that brake at 10 to 20%, long enough to where it starts going down the track, and then I finish that motion with my throttle, and then I should be able to make a somewhat straight shot out of the exit with that late apex. This was a little bit shallow of a late apex, so I was always going to get loose off this corner. You can make that apex later and have it be a lot more comfortable than I made it for myself there, but take a look again. So 40% brake. As soon as we start turning the wheel more, we drop it to 10 to 20. We hold that until the car makes that motion down to the bottom. Then we immediately get on the throttle, try to just really bully it off the corner for these hot laps at least. Okay, turn 3. Very easy to overdrive this corner. Most people do it. So I'm actually just going to 40% brake. Again, because I have a little bit of steering here. If my wheel is completely straight, you could get away with a little more brake, but as we're turning into the corner, you don't want to go more than 40. So same thing, 40 until I turn the wheel more, then down to 10 to 20, and then I wait for the car to just land on that yellow. So I actually did a really good job of sticking it to the yellow. This is more of a traditional oval type corner. Once the car sticks to the yellow and it doesn't want to go outside and slide up to the wall anymore, we pick up the throttle to about half to 60%, and then once we can unload the wheel and stay on that yellow line still, we go full throttle. So you want to find that amount of throttle to where you can stick to this yellow line and not immediately slide up. And the problem is, it's like Price is Right. If you go 80% throttle, if the number is 60% and you go over it, it'll immediately slide up. So you got to go less than it or up to it. So you can see I got that 60, then 80, then finally 100 as I'm sliding up the track, but it's already, the corner's over, so very comfortable. You can push that a little bit harder than I did, but you're just going to get super loose off of turn 4. That's where lap time is though, but just letting you know that it's going to be a little bit tougher. So long run here at Richmond, very interesting long run because it wears both your front and your rear tire because of different things you have to do. I would worry a little bit more about your front tire, to be honest with you. I guess Richmond isn't considered a short track, but most of these types of tracks, you're like, oh, the rear tire is the one that heats up and you just, it hurts you. But you're going fast enough at Richmond to where you really got to worry about that right front. So what I like to do is just really hold that trail brake until the car moves back towards the bottom. Turn 3 and 4, you just want to get to this yellow really early and stick to it and then find that throttle. Same thing as qualifying, but pushing even less than you do because you really don't want any slidey motions off the corner. I like this early brake because it allows me to really wait on the car. That bogged me down a little bit too much. That wouldn't have been good for the race. You probably have to push a little bit harder than that. 3 and 4 though, very easy to just drive comfortably. 1 and 2 you might have to end up pushing a little more to stay, to keep your track position, because that's pretty important at a place like this. You won't have to worry about long run too much either because there's a lot of wrecks C-fixed at Richmond. So yeah, not going quite as wide on turn 1 seems to help a lot, and I'm still not asking too much out of the car, so I'll probably do that. Do still the late apex motion, but you just don't want to get out that wide. That's actually a pretty good lap considering. So yeah, maybe just go to that second groove instead of a little bit higher, weigh on it a little more. Added a little bit of steering wheel there because the car was very slow. That type of slide you don't want to have too much of. But yeah, I'm forcing full throttle a little bit too early just because I'm getting a little lazy, and that's something you want to avoid. So like, I'm just gonna wait on the partial here until I can straighten my steering wheel, and then I have no problems going full throttle. You see that? Missed my entrance a little bit there, but I'm just gonna wait on the trail brake to hit my line. I'll do a couple more laps here. Line's not gonna change too much. You might end up having to take 1-2 a little bit wider and slower, just because maybe the right front runs out of grip. You really want to end up waiting on that full throttle until you're comfortable with how straight your wheel is, because that's where you start getting into trouble, is when you force full throttle before your wheel is completely moving back towards the center. That was a really early lift for no reason, but we're gonna save it with just rolling it on the bottom. I mean, it's not the worst corner in the world. You see that 1 and 2 you really can just approach in a lot of different ways. I guess that one's good for tire saving if you really have the room for it, but I wouldn't super recommend it. But yeah, I mean, that's comfortable. We can drive it comfortable, close enough to a good speed. Some people are going to be pushing, but they're going to be really roasting their tires. Oops. 99, 98. So yeah, right at the beginning of the run, it does wear the right rear a little bit more, but as you get older, if you end up making it 30, 40 laps into the run, that right front's going to really take a beating. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope to see you all on the track.